I see this with nice guys all the time. We want to get it right. We don't want to make a mistake. And so gathering information is a hell of a lot easier than taking action, than getting out of our comfort zone, especially in new areas that we don't know well. I always tell my clients, I don't believe in confusion. Whenever a client tells me they're confused, what is really happening here is that you're afraid. What I'm sharing with you runs contrary to your deeply held beliefs or ways of doing things, and it's easier to get confused than to just acknowledge this scares the ever living shit out of me. In just a minute, we're going to dive into the lesson. But before we do, I'm just going to kind of help us get grounded just a little bit and get here. So let's everybody just get your feet on the ground. I love that phrase, be where your feet are. I was talking with a coaching client today about feet. Yeah, people pay me good money to talk about feet. And I love my feet. You know, we take our feet for granted. But have you ever seen kind of you can go online, you can see an image that shows a distorted looking person with the parts of their body that has the most nerve endings as expanded. And if you find that image, the parts that are the most expanded, if I remember right, are hands, feet, and lips. That's where we've got a lot of nerve endings. And we neglect our feet. And that's why I go barefoot a lot, because I love feeling my feet on the ground. Right now, I feel my bare feet on a little bit of carpet underneath me. When I want to, I can move it over to the hardwood, feel the cool of the hardwood. And just feeling your feet on the ground, for me, gets me in my body. And if I'm in my body, I'm here. I'm present. Now, of course, when I'm in my head, thinking, analyzing, daydreaming in the past, in the future, I'm not here. So the best way I know to get here is just feel my feet on the ground. So be where your feet are. Let's sit up real straight. Put your hands on the tops of your thighs. And let's just take 3 nice, easy, full belly breaths. And close your eyes down just for a minute. Just feel the air coming into your lungs, into your diaphragm. As you take in a deep breath, hold it at the top for a moment before you let it out. And then after you let it out, pause for a minute. Now just find a nice, easy, steady rhythm of your breath. When your body needs to take in oxygen, just breathe in nice and easy. When it's ready to let go of the CO2, just exhale nice and easy. And just for a few moments here, let's just enjoy the bliss of breathing. Just like we take for granted feeling our feet on the ground, we take for granted our breath. But breath is how we stay alive. And our body just does it naturally without us having to think about it. But let's just enjoy it for a few moments. Feel how relaxing it is to just breathe. Just bring all of your focus to your feet and your breath. Feel them both. All right, take three more nice, easy, full belly breaths. After your third breath, when you're ready, open your eyes. And paradoxically, return to the screen that we'll be talking about on this call. So let's just use that as a segue and dive into our lesson. You saw a quote on the screen when you came in that said, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free." And I thought as that came up on the screen for new members of Integration Nation, maybe thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Is this a religious group? And I'm thinking, if that caused you any concern, rest assured, just a couple weeks ago, we had a quote from an atheist, Christopher Hitchens, and we get Buddha on there. So we cover the whole spectrum. But that did kind of cross my mind when it came up. And in the title of this particular lesson, I'm calling it Truth versus Information. Truth versus information. Truth sets us free, apparently, and information can as well. But I also believe it can enslave us. And since this series of lessons is on freedom, I've been trying to dive into various ways that we consciously and unconsciously give away our freedom. And I think, it's a universal desire. We want to live free. We want to live life on our terms. We want to experience the fullness of all that there is to experience. But yet there are so many ways, and so paradoxically, so many things that we do to give our freedom away. And, it's obvious. Today, we are consumers of information. There's literally every day, new information is being created. Right this moment on this call, we are creating new information is being recorded, and it's going to be posted on our website, on Integration Nation website. It's going to be posted on YouTube. It might be cut up and posted on Instagram and Facebook. And so even as we talk, new information is being created. There's more to be consumed. And I'm not the only one. I am a content creator. I'm an influencer. I'm part of the problem, so to speak. And I'm not the only one. That just information and the sources where we get our information are ubiquitous. We're drowning in information. Now, information, of course, is valuable. It's helpful. It can help guide decisions. It can help us understand something better. It can help us understand people better. We need information. So I hope you understand this is not going to be, get off your computer, get off your phone, never look at this stuff again. Information is valuable. And we're going to come back to where it can become problematic in just a minute. But in the meantime, let's have a little bit of fun with each other. Let's do a little bit of our chat. I like playing around with you guys on the chat. So let's kind of just get a picture of us as information consumers. Just out of curiosity, how many times, let's say in the last couple of days, last 2 or 3 days, how many times would you say you've used some form of AI seeking information? Chat GPT, Perplexity. I've got Perplexity app on my phone. I've used it a few times in the last few days. I'm going to tell you a quick story in just a minute about that. Yes, none. Every day. Oh, geez, every hour? Yes, 10, none, 10-ish, 0, 0 times. Looked at car stats. Okay. Some of us are using AI, Chat GPT, some not so much. All right, here's another one. Let's say in the last week, just take a guess, educated guess. How many hours would you say you've spent scrolling on social media? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok? How many hours in the last week do you just pick up your phone and just scroll? 20 minutes, average 3 hours a day, none. Instagram, 3 hours a day. There must be a lot of good shit on Instagram. I should look at it sometime. 10 hours, 8 hours, 1 hour a day, probably 30 minutes, average an hour a day. Okay. All right, here's another one. We'll get more, kind of a little bit more kind of heady, a little more intellectual here. Say in the last month, how many documentaries have you watched, or how many podcasts have you listened to? I mean, documentaries are good, right? Podcasts are good, right? Say in the last 30 days, how many have you watched? How many have you listened to? Podcasts daily, 6, 1 hour a podcast, 3 to 4 a day, 2 podcasts in the last month, 20, 2, too many, 1 day maybe, 6. All of Dr. Glover's, yes, keep watching those. Okay, don't worry about that. Keep watching anything I put out. 1 to 2 podcasts a day, lots of podcasts, lots of webinars, YouTubes, podcasts while driving. Okay, 3 documentaries. Okay. All right, here's another one. How many, let's say in the last year, how many self-help books, books on personal health or wellness, business, marketing, finance, wealth? How many of you read or listened to? So like just self-improvement type stuff, marketing, business. 10 books. 1, 5, 2. Some of us need to read more books. 5-ish, 4, 1 a month. Okay. And again, none of this is a criticism. I'm a consumer of information right there along with you. All right. Last question then. In the last year, how many workshops, seminars have you attended? Personal growth, personal development, growing your business, employee related, employer related. 0, 1, 16, 3. PK goes to a lot of workshops, webinars. 10, 1, 3, 2, 2. Okay. If this counts, a shitload. 10. You're making us feel like garbage, Doc. No. This isn't to make us feel like garbage. I've been to workshops and seminars. I read books. I get on YouTube. I watch stuff. I like watching podcasts. So that's not the point here. The point is that I want to make in this lesson is that information is helpful. Information is useful. I mean, I'm not advocating being ignorant. I've got a fucking PhD, right? I spent thousands of dollars and lots of years of my life to gather information, to get educated. I still like to learn. I still like to grow. So that's not the point. But I think you guys probably are going to get the gist is that we do live in this information ocean. I mean, it's like it just surrounds us, bombards us, rains down on us. It's a fire hose 24/7. That means we've got to be conscious. Okay? So I want to make 3 points as I talk to you tonight. That information is helpful and useful. But I'm going to give you 3 situations in which it can be problematic. And that's really what I want us to tune into. Not that we're going to vilify information. Like I said, I'm a content creator. I'm an influencer. I'm consuming information. I'm putting information out there. Okay. So here are 3 situations I want to just quickly go with you. We're going to put you in breakout rooms in a little bit, let you talk about it, and we're going to do some Q&A in a little bit to go into them further. So information is helpful and useful, except for when, 1, is preventing you from taking action. 2, when it is only fodder to support your need to be right. And 3, when it is enslaving, addicting, or retarding of your natural growth and evolution. Sound interesting? Let's dive into those 3 things. So information is useful unless it is preventing you from taking action. Now, I've been working with men. Well, I've been working with people for 40 plus years and really focusing my attention on men for about 25 to 30 years. So I'm a guy. I love working with guys, and we guys love consuming information. And one of the things I've found, like those questions I asked you, like how many books have you read? How many podcasts? How many this? Is I work with so many men that are really stuck in life. And they're very well informed, right? They're taking in a lot of information. And one of the things, if you've been around me very long, you've probably heard me say it more than once, is that you probably already have enough information to take significant action in your life. You don't need to listen to one more podcast. You don't need to come to one more brotherhood call. You don't need to read one more book, attend one more webinar or workshop. And I'm not saying don't do those things, but you probably already have enough life-changing information to make some significant difference in your life starting today, if you just applied that information that you had. But the thing is, it is so easy to get wrapped up in gathering more information. A quote that I posted a month or so ago from Eric Fromm It says, free man is by necessity insecure. Remember, we've been talking about you can't be free and secure at the same time? All right, that's what Eric Fromm's saying. And he says, thinking man by necessity uncertain. And since we're thinking men, we're always going to have uncertainty. And guess what we tend to do with that uncertainty? Let's go gather more information. Let's go get more details. Let's dive deeper. And that actually often just gets in the way of us just taking an action that might fail, an action that might make us look stupid, an action that might cost us something, an action that might get a friend or a family member to turn against us. And so it's just easier to gather information than it is to take action. And again, I see this with nice guys all the time. We want to get it right. We don't want to make a mistake. And so gathering information is a hell of a lot easier than taking action, than getting out of our comfort zone, especially in new areas that we don't know well. And I understand, like when I want to learn something new, like about a digital camera, I'll get on YouTube and I'll watch some YouTube videos. And like, for example, I bought a new writing tablet. A friend of mine, she has young blood. Every time I'm with him, he's writing on his tablet. And I have notebooks everywhere. And I thought, I need to get one of those tablets. But the instructions that came with it suck ass. Now, I've been really busy, and I've got a new virtual assistant. And so I had my virtual assistant go find me. I said, go find me the 2 best videos on how to use this new digital writing tablet. I haven't even watched them yet. But the good news is I got a virtual assistant to go watch them and just give me 2 of them. So information is handy, but I'm committed to watching 2 videos. And then I'm going to start using that tablet until I run into a problem that I don't understand. And then I'll have my virtual assistant go find another video to help me answer that problem. So information is handy, but again, it can be the thing that we use to just not take that action. At some point, I'm just going to have to sit down and start writing on that tablet. I'm going to have to start writing on it and then figure out, right, okay, how do I convert it to text now? How do I upload it? How do I, put it in a file? How do I go find the files? I'm just going to have to do it, right? I'm just going to have to just start doing it and bumble my way through it. And then I'll actually know what information to better go look for. But it is so easy to just keep gathering the information. That's easier than taking an action that scares us. Another example, if you've been around me very long, you've probably heard me confront somebody. I did this just at a weekend workshop a couple weeks ago, where I was talking to a guy in the workshop about depths of unconscious feelings. And I was talking about, he's describing a situation that had been bothering him for some years with a friend. And I was talking about how maybe unconsciously he co-created that emotional system with his friend to let him play familiar roles and feel familiar feelings. And I said, that's a very, very common thing. That's kind of the basis of pretty much all psychology, is that our unconscious, makes us recreate situations that feel normal to us. The human mind wants things that feel familiar. And it's like, I was talking to him about 20 minutes. He just wasn't getting it. And he's a smart guy. And he said, I'm confused. I said, no. I said, I always tell my clients, I don't believe in confusion. Whenever a client tells me they're confused, what I always say is what is really happening here is that you're afraid. What I'm sharing with you runs contrary to your deeply held beliefs or ways of doing things. And it's easier to get confused than to just acknowledge this scares the ever living shit out of me. Thinking this way, acting this way scares me. Now, the thing is, I know of a solution for fear. I don't know of a solution for that kind of confusion. And I found that with clients, if I just start giving them more information, more illustrations to try to get them past their confusion, it never gets them past it. I remember when I first launched my PET course years ago, and I taught it as an 8-week course. I think we might have had 4 call-in Q&A sessions. There's 8 lessons to it, lots of illustrations. And I get it. I understand that men have a hard time grasping positive emotional tension, mainly because we don't like emotional tension. I've even had men say, can we change the name from tension? Because I don't like tension. I go, that's the very fucking point. We don't like emotional tension. Women absolutely love it, need it, crave it, have to have it for attraction. And I remember on the very last call in, after 8 weeks, 8 written lessons, I think this was maybe the fourth call in, we get on this Q&A, and a guy on there goes, Dr. Glover, I'm not sure I really understand emotional tension. Can you give one more example? And I go, no, I'm not giving another example. I'm giving your money back. Another example would not have cured his confusion. Why? Practicing positive emotional tension is scary for men. And it's easier to be confused than just say, that scares me. I don't want to go do that. And so our mind will convince us we're confused and just, oh, let's go gather more information. So again, thinking causes anxiety. And so does mental masturbation, and so does analysis of paralysis, and so does endless gathering of information. Acting cures it. So here's a rule of thumb. Freedom is found in action, not in information. You've got enough information right now to go take some bold action. And I'm going to encourage you in the chat rooms to share what is a bold action you are going to act on now, based on all the good self-help books you've read, based on all the podcasts you've listened to, based on all the workshops you've been to, based on all the brotherhood calls you've listened to, all the tribe calls you've been to, all the YouTube videos you've watched. What is one powerful but scary action you have sufficient information to take? So we're going to come back to that on the discussion questions. Okay, second point. Information is useful unless it is only fodder to support your need to be right. Now, none of us are ever like that, right? No, we're very open-minded. We're very accepting of other people and their opinions. We never get into arguments over philosophical differences. Not us. Now, here's the funny thing. Again, another paradox. The more information we have, the more divided we are as people and sure of the rightness of our stance. Have you noticed that? Everybody is right nowadays. And everybody is sure they're right. Why? Because they've got enough information to back up their stance. Everybody is practicing confirmation bias, and we have boatloads of information to let us do that. But have you ever noticed, if you ever Google something or follow somebody on Instagram or Facebook, or subscribe on a YouTube channel, or look up something on Amazon, or even say something in front of your Alexa or your smart television, and now you start seeing and hearing that or related items everywhere you go, every web page you look at, every time you're on Instagram, YouTube, you just start seeing everything that is the same thing, right? That's the way these systems are built, which means it's easy to live in that echo chamber that we think, oh, look, the whole world believes the way I do, because every time I'm on Instagram or YouTube or looking at a web page, everything I see supports what I've already been looking at and believe. And so once you go looking for something, all we're going to see is information that supports our belief system. And nowadays, nobody is free because everyone is slaves to gathering the information that supports their narrow point of view. And we all do it, right? I'm sure I do it as well. I'm an opinionated motherfucker. And, I like having information that supports my belief systems. But we're all becoming fundamentalists. And here's the thing. Fundamentalists are the most unfree of all people. Now, some of you are going to want to argue with me about that because you're probably proud to be a fundamentalist. But a fundamentalist says, I just believe in the basics. I believe in, whatever my church, my religion, my belief system, my side of things says, this is truth. We're closed-minded when we're fundamentalists. I grew up in a church that people used to say, Jesus said it, I believe it. That settles it. Now that's goddamn open-minded, isn't it? That settles it. My mind's made up. Don't confuse me with the facts. Okay. Want to be truly informed and truly free? Get curious about why your adversary, why the person on the other side of the fence. Get curious about why they believe what they believe. Get really curious about it. Don't just go looking for information to prove them wrong. Get curious. Why do they believe what they believe? What good reasons might they have? Ask yourself, where might they be right? Well, maybe they're not right about everything, but where might they be right? And then maybe every now and then go looking for information that contradicts your own beliefs. I do that. I do that. If I notice I have a pretty strong belief system about something, especially if I know there's other people that have a contrary belief to it, I'll go looking for information about what supports the other belief system because I want to know. I want to understand. Sometimes I joke, I'll say stupid stuff in front of people just so people can correct me. Because then I usually get a good education without me having to go dig too deep for it. Because there's well informed people out there that will give me more accurate information. I like to know, I like to grow, I like to understand things. But when we go looking for information to support our confirmation bias that we're right, information is entrapping us and enslaving us, not setting us free. Okay, third point. Information is useful unless it is enslaving, addicting, or retarding you. Again, I've talked about many men I work with were enslaved to gathering information. We become addicts to it. And in a couple months, I'm thinking September, October, a friend of mine named Luke Intrup is going to come on one of these calls as a guest speaker. And he has started a company that works with people to help them get free from screen addiction. Yeah, screen addiction. This stuff is addicting. It's built to be addicting. Apps are built to be addicting. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and maybe the winner of them all, TikTok, are built to be addicting. Maybe even started back, maybe blame my generation. I think it started with MTV. When MTV, would put videos on where the scene shots got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter to where like it became like a video game. Yeah, video games. There we go. Just this stuff becomes addicting to our human brain. And addictions take away our freedom. They steal our life force. They make us weaker, less competent, stupider. I had a thought just a couple nights ago. Like I said, I got Perplexity app on my phone, and I use it. And Lupita, a couple nights ago, was about to catch a flight from Puerto Vallarta to Mexico City, spend several hours in the middle of the night in Mexico City, and get up and catch a flight about 5 a.m. on a different airline from Mexico City to Colombia. Lupita's right now, it's her birthday today, for anybody that cares. Today's Lupita's birthday, and she's celebrating it in Colombia at a dance event. And I'm really happy for her, really excited. I'm up here in Seattle because I'm going to my granddaughter's high school graduation this weekend. So I'm excited for me as well. So anyway, I was asking Perplexity some questions about the Mexico City airport, about how late the Aeromexico VIP lounge stayed open in case she could stay there. Somebody told her it was open all night. I doubted that. I was right. Yes, I proved myself right. It closes at 10, opens at 5. And then I asked Perplexity what terminal the other airline was located at, because I wanted to know, was she going to have to go from the terminal with Aeromexico, which pretty much controls the airport in Mexico City, to get to the other. And so I'm asking a couple questions on there. And then Lupita would say something while Perplexity was still open in Spanish to me. And Perplexity would start talking in really good Spanish, really good, with a good Mexican accent. And then I asked it a question about Bogota, Colombia. And then Lupita says, and it started talking Spanish with a Colombian accent. I mean, that's how good that AI is. And I put my phone down. I turned off. You have to actually, hit that little X to make Perplexity quit listening to you. put my phone down and I told Lupita, if this had existed 10 years ago when you and I met, I would not know how to speak Spanish today. If the app had been that good 10 years ago, I mean, we were on apps learning words while we were learning to talk to each other. And now I'm relatively fluent enough that I can speak Spanish and to most people. Well, if they're Mexican, I can't understand Cubans, and I found out I can't understand Venezuelans very well either. But I can speak well enough. But if I'd had that app, I would have just used that app all the time. And it would have robbed me of this opportunity that I'm so happy for that I learned Spanish in my 50s and 60s, right? It challenged me. I've been growing through learning a language, when most people are just playing golf and watching Fox News. I've been learning a new language. And if that had been around, I never would have done it. So in other words, it would have dumbed me down. So that was just kind of a little bit of aha. So remember, most content creators and influencers don't have your freedom or well-being in mind. They have their own power, money, followers in mind. And ask yourself, are YouTube, Instagram, X, AI, are they setting you free or enslaving you? Are they making you more well-informed and intelligent, or are they dumbing you down and retarding you? Can you go an hour or two without scrolling? Can you walk? Can you go to the bathroom without your phone? Can you be in between conversations? Can you wait in a line without? I walk my dog every morning. You know how many people I see walking their dogs on their phone? There's one guy, he's always on his phone. We passed him the other day and go, look, Lupita, he's not on his phone. It was so strange to see this guy walking his pug and he wasn't on his phone. Okay? They're meant to be addicting. Karl Marx said that religion is the opiate of the masses. I'm going to add an addendum to that. I'm going to say that information is the opiate of the masses. Information is the matrix. And we don't even know. We're walking around stoned on opium and hooked up to the matrix. We think it's feeding us. It's feeding off of us. Let me just ask you a couple questions. Are you more or less productive after spending time gathering information? Are you more or less energized after gathering information? Are you more or less free after gathering information? Just ponder those things. Okay, so what is the truth that set us free? The paradox. We've been talking about so many paradoxes in these lessons. We have to know ourselves to be free, and gathering information is not the same as knowing ourselves. It often just leads to our fundamentalism, our confusion, our inaction, our loss of freedom. The truth that sets us free. I believe we have to be still, spend time in solitude, listen to that small, still voice, break our habits of reflexive thinking and information gathering. So I'm going to challenge all of us, including me. If I give you guys a challenge, I've either done it or I'm going to do it. I'm going to challenge this. Let's get off our computers and phones just a little bit. I'm not saying turn them off, don't use them. I mean, I like seeing you guys every week, so don't go away. Get on your computer, come see me. I'll get on my computer and come see you. Let's just be more conscious of how we're handcuffed to our phones and our computers. And again, our handcuffs take our freedom away. So my challenge to you guys, to me this week, consciously be more still. Spend less time on our computers and phone. Get out in nature. Spend time talking to people face to face. That's what will set us free. That's what cuts the cord. That's what breaks us out of the matrix. That's what gets us off the opiate. Just being in the moment, in the now, in the world, in nature, with ourselves, with people.